Series I savings bonds. What a crazy complicated thing to explain. So I'm going to distill it down to the simplest part. And I'm going to go back in time 2 years ago to tell you that there was such a frenzy buying these I is for inflation, these inflation bonds from the federal government 2 years ago when the interest rate went to 9.6%. When at that point savings accounts were still earning like 2%. The Series I savings bonds were earning 9.6 plus percent. I think it was 9.62 to be precise. And people were buying them in such large numbers, the U.S. Treasury Department computer system crashed. It was like they were trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets or something. The system just went on the blink. Well, now, fast forward a couple of years, twice a year the interest rate you earn on Series I, again for inflation, savings bonds resets. The most recent reset dropped the inflation rate that you're receiving to 2.98%. So right now I can go buy a CD at 4 point something percent, maybe even topping 5%. I can put money in a savings account or a money market account earning more than 5% right now. And people who bought Series I savings bonds 2 years ago approximately, they were earning 9.6% on those. Today, for the next 6 months, are earning 2.98%. But then somebody who buys a Series I savings bond today is not earning 2.98, they're earning 4.28%. Why are they earning more than you're earning for the same interest earning period? Because when you bought a Series I at the cycle before, I think when they were 7, and then it went to 9, and then it went to maybe 6 or 7, whatever the cycle was every 6 months, you were only receiving what was the then current rate of inflation. You were getting no bonus above the rate of inflation. And that will stay the same for your full 30 years in it. Where somebody who buys today gets the rate of inflation plus every 6 months for the next 30 years, you get 1.30% on an annual basis. So you get the rate of inflation plus 1.3%. So somebody buying a Series I savings bond now gets more than the rate of inflation, a full 1.30%. So that 1.30 stays the same every 6 month cycle for the next 60 cycles, 30 years, and then they get whatever the current inflation rate is. It's calculated by the Federal Reserve or Treasury. Treasury or Federal Reserve? One or the other. Anyway, so they reset the interest rate twice a year, so you'll get that plus the 1.3. So here's where math is something that really can work to your favor. So if you dump Series I savings bonds that you bought within the last 5 years and you bail out, you lose 3 months of interest. Well, you let this cycle run a few months and you bail out, you're going to lose the annual rate of 2.98 or 1.49% interest. You'll lose that from the bond. But then you can turn right around and rebuy the bond, and you'll make up that pretty quickly, because if you're going to hold it for a long term, moving forward, you'll earn 1.3%, which you don't with those bonds, plus the rate of inflation, a much better deal. So if you like having inflation savings bonds, I bonds, the advantage of owning the new ones versus the old ones is so large that you want to forfeit a 90-day cycle of interest at today's lower inflation earning rate of 2.98%. You want to forfeit that so that you then can rebuy them and earn at the higher rate because you're getting the additional 1.3%. If I just made your eyes glaze over, we have a wonderful briefing for you at Clark.com trying to make sense of what I just said. How many times over since 1997 have you heard me try to explain Series I savings bonds, and I create more questions than I answer?
Well, I've heard you give a lot of good advice to people, including to me, and I bought at that high rate. So
yeah, back then it was amazing because we got Series I's back in the late 90s up to like year 2000, I guess, where you earned 3.6% plus the rate of inflation. I still own those, and they're still printing money for me, and I will own them for the full 30 years because they were such a steal of a deal.